According to the way you've been explaining me on the kinds of irrigation, I'm seeing these tomatoes being planted on hips, and I want our viewers to see what you have been totally talking about. Which kind of irrigation are we applying on this kind of plantation?
Here we are going to use flood irrigation.
Flood irrigation.
Whereby there are pipes that are passing there.
Okay.
When water has been pumped from down, it's going to be coming.
So we are laying some pipes within these floods?
No, not necessarily pipes. Just water is going to be made to flow in this what?
So this kind of irrigation limits the level of stress to the plant. That's what I've seen.
And even other soil-borne diseases.
Okay.
Like the leaf roll.
How often are we going to spray these tomatoes? Because I see this water is going to wash off the spray that we always apply to these tomatoes. How often are we spraying? Like, let me say on a scale over 1 week time.
Spraying or applying chemicals, fungicides and others on tomatoes depends on weather. When the weather is dry, we usually apply at an interval of 14 days. When the weather is a little bit rainy, wet, we apply at around a week, an interval of a week. So if we are using overhead irrigation, we always make sure that the plants gets what we call enough water once we apply.
Isn't this enough water washing away the chemicals that you're applying onto these tomatoes?
We make sure that we apply that water prior to spraying, not after.
Before spraying, we first apply water,
then we spray.
Then after we spray. I have asked you that question because someone may first spray and later
you first apply water, then you spray.
Okay, then that is a good tactic. I'm seeing the tomatoes, they have
started flowering.
Bring out the flowers, and there are a number of flowers I'm seeing, because the first flower is seen.
And we call it a chituliro.
And I'm seeing the tomatoes are not yet mulched. When are we expecting these tomatoes to be mulched? And isn't this mulching going to cause stress and we lose these flowers?
There was a little bit of a delay to mulch, but this very week they are going to be mulched. But even before mulching, we are going to prune them. So when we prune them, they will not get stress, because if we are going to remove those excess branches and the first leaves.
And what is the reason as why we are pruning these tomatoes? Because to me, I may see it as a loss, because the branches you cutting, like you pruning off, are going to bring some flowers, and the flowers are the very things that are going to bring us the fruits. Why do we prune these branches off?
Pruning as an agronomic practice on tomatoes increases like around 3 things. One, it increases yields of a given plant.
Okay.
In the way that if we leave like around 2 branches, they will utilize the fertilizer that we placed there without competing, and the yields will be high. Okay. Then even the later to which some diseases can be sprayed in your garden is decreased, especially the fungal diseases, because fungal diseases are mainly caused by congestion, and this congestion is being brought about by excess branches and excess leaves.
What are the advantages of this kind of cropping that we are having hips over the normal grounded crops that we always have? Because I see that the land, the spacing is quite big, and I'm seeing someone who is not utilizing that.
the land.
The land. I want you to show us the goodness of using this kind of cropping over the other traditional cropping, because this is something which is just implemented and I see it being new, and some viewers of ours could not see it as something which is resultful.
First of all, if you look at this topography of ours, it's a bit gently sloping, and we have been in a rainy season. So if you use this kind of farming, it is a terrace kind of farming. It is controlling the erosion of the erosion. Soil. Okay. Yeah, it controls erosion. Then even it preserves water more than the other ground. That's why even now you see that we are experiencing a lot of sunshine, but our crops are the vigor is what? Okay, because there is water in what? In the soil. Another one, you see the angam where am I? So if you are spraying, you are not going to get into contact. Not damaging any crop. You're not going to get into contact with the what? The crop. Even the angle at which you apply the chemicals on the plant, it is quite formidable. Okay. Whereby you can twist around your nozzle from down to top, because you are on an elevated angle. Are we like farming organically on this kind of crop? It is unintegrated. Okay. See, it's unintegrated, organic and synthetic. Why? Organic in the way that when we were preparing this land, we never used any chemical, and we buried everything within the soil. That is being organic. Okay. But the variety of tomatoes which we planted are not native varieties. Okay. So they need to be done some synthetic measures to control some diseases that can affect them. That's why we can't go 100% organic. That's why we do integrated organic and synthetic. Isn't the burying of those grasses within the soil keeps the soil with infections? No. Actually, when you bury the grasses, they are going to start decomposing. Then you're going to get organic matter, and even the pathogens or some insects which might cause some damages or some diseases to these plants, you are burying them, and because they also can decompose to increase on the organic matter, organic content of the soil. Okay. Yeah. As we looking at the plantation, they are having flowers. Which kind of chemicals are we applying to keep these flowers onto our plant? Basically, when we are planting these tomatoes, we used an organic fertilizer, and that was poultry litter. So, keeping the plant with the flowers, we don't need to apply chemicals, because the element that initiates flowering is called potassium, and potassium is found in an organic fertilizer. It's already there. So what we need here, we just need to boost. We are going to boost some vigor by applying some folio fertilizers, which increases the vigor of the crop, like the kind of is a grow fruits and flowers and the BMO. So that gives us a good yield of the fruit after boosting the flower. Yeah. Okay, please. Thank you.